What is going on, Future Focus team? Back at it with another video. If this is your first time to the channel, thank you. Welcome. If not, welcome back. The purpose of this channel is to educate and entertain you, but the ultimate goal of this channel is to make you just a little bit smarter today in order for you to have a better tomorrow. And with all that said, today I got a special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up? I'm James Telfer. I'm in the Marine Corps. I've opened a motorcycle business and I own a few houses as well.
All right. So yeah, he's an investor. He's been investing for a while now. The purpose I'm bringing him in here is just to try to get some lessons learned from him, because he ended up starting a business and it didn't go exactly the way he wanted. And I'm just trying to pick his brain here, see what happened, and see what things we can learn from him, things we should do, things we shouldn't do. So go ahead, man. Give us the whole story. Like, what made you want to start the business? Why that business?
So a couple years ago, one of my buddies got out of the Marine Corps. He worked on bikes for a while, and I love bikes. I've rode since I was legal to ride, and I thought it was like just the best plan. Like open up a bike shop, and what could go wrong? And we opened it up. We found a storefront. We had I was making some pretty good money in Jersey when I was stationed up there. I had a lot, some pretty good BAH, and wasn't paying rent because I was living with my in-laws. So I had a lot of extra money left over, and I was able to support it with that. And yeah.
All right. So when you first started it, like, what were the steps that you took in order to establish it? Like, did you establish a limited liability company, a S corporation? Did you do any of that stuff?
Yeah. So we were an LLC. Damn, I really can't remember how we went about that. But there's like websites everywhere that helps you out, that does step by step, and that was the simple part. We didn't have to take out any loans or anything like that though, so it was really nothing that we was crazy like that.
So the process to begin with was fairly simple.
Yep. The LLC was easy.
All right, so that's good to know. Go ahead.
You filled out like a form, and that was it, if I can remember correctly.
Yeah. So with the limited liability company, it varies by state. So you'll take that form, you'll send it into the local government, and each government will have different stipulations, things you need to meet. It's usually between about $50 to $100 to start it. It's not that expensive at all. But so let's start from the beginning, Matt. How important was the location to you? Was it like, what made you choose where you chose to start the bike shop?
So the location that we were first at was not the best. It was cheap though. It was like $400 a month. I figured that was a good spot to get our name out there, because most of the time we were going to be on the road, like going to events and stuff and trying to promote our business like that. And so location wasn't like crazy important to us at first, which is, wrong. I went to some business classes in college and stuff like that. And, it's always location. That's one of the biggest things. And but at first, I don't know why, I just wasn't like too concerned with it. And I figured, we'll start there. It's cheap, $400 a month, which you'll never find anywhere. It wasn't like it was like an abandoned warehouse, which I thought was kind of cool also, like working out of an abandoned warehouse with a bike shop and making it all like rustic looking.
Yeah.
But
it adds to the mystique.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah.
Yeah. So let's stay there in the beginning, man. So now we established the location. So do you regret doing it there? Like, if you could do that over, would you maybe have done it somewhere else, somewhere different?
No, because well, actually, yes, I would do it. I wouldn't have picked that location at all. Even though it was cheap, we ended up finding a different one a couple months later, and that location was definitely a little bit better. It was on a main road, so we did have people viewing it like that. We did have a lot of people coming in from that way, and yeah, that was definitely better. Definitely brought in some business.
So let's talk about the good, man. What went right with the business? What are some of the things that went right?
Not much. Um,
All right, so where did it start to go wrong then? Like, at what point did you feel like this is not gonna work, or like, how deep in were you?
so at one point, I ended up taking out a loan for $20,000. We bought out a motorcycle shop, and we got a lot of stuff from it. Like, it was well worth the money. Like, I would do that over again, easy. But once I did that, like, it just started crumbling. My partner, he started to uh like cave in. Like, he just felt the pressure and
Hmm.
couldn't handle it. And that's when, like, I was like, oh shit, man, now I'm $20,000 in the hole. And yeah.
So did you ever get any of that money back, or like, how did
Yeah.
that work?
So I actually ended up making money on it because we got like a crazy good deal on that, and came with like 6 bikes, so I was able to sell all those and a whole bunch of parts that came with it. And yeah, I ended up making like $3,000 off of it. But
So going back to like your partner, how was like, because I know being in the military and try to run a business at the same time, like you had to lean heavily on your other partner to ensure that that
yeah,
person was keeping up with a lot of it, because you couldn't physically be there to do that. Uh, was that an issue for you? Like, is that something you would do again with somebody different, or like you wouldn't even risk that again?
I don't think I would risk that again, only because I had to put a lot of trust in him. I had to make sure he was. I mean, he was dealing with everything. I was only seeing it from like a bank account view, which is kind of sketchy, because you don't know if he's just dealing cash or it's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it. But no, I would not do that again, and I would not recommend that.
Um, so you took out the loan. Was it like, were you? Did he give you money as well, or was it just like you took a leap of faith there, and like, how did that work?
No, so we had an agreement saying so we were paying once we moved we were paying $700 a month for rent, and so the agreement came to he would pay the rent and I would just pay that loan off as quick as possible. And we had like a small virtual agreement too, like with the bikes. We were gonna we had like everything mapped out, how much each bike we could sell for and all this stuff, and how much we like divided it up between the loan too. So if we said one bike cost us like 2,500 for the loan, and we ended up selling for 5,000, then we'd put like $3,000 towards the loan to pay it off quick, and that was the goal, just so we could have some income coming into the shop, and we'd be able to purchase whatever we needed to.
From start to finish, how long did it take for like all of this to develop, from the moment you guys established the LLC and got the location um, to end, like the end date, the last day of the company? How long was that?
I think we lasted probably like a year and a half. I'd have to look back on that. It was a good amount of time.
Yeah. So the good thing is that you didn't like lose a substantial amount of money, which a lot of people do,
Yeah.
but I think what you gained is pretty valuable. Like, what are some of the lessons that you learned from this experience?
Definitely watch out who you go into business with. Um, Avoid taking out a loan. I think that was one of the biggest reasons why I wasn't too concerned about going into business, because I didn't really need a loan at that time.
Yeah.
And then when I did need a loan, I felt somewhat comfortable to do it. I figured that would give us like a big push. I was wrong, but uh, I think I would have still taken out that loan though if I could go back. um, yeah, and location is key for no matter what. Like, no matter what business you're in, location is pretty key, especially if it's like a storefront business. That's going to be key for everything. And well,
So, leaving that situation, which I know still probably hurts your heart, like
Yeah.
But would you establish a new business? Would you do like, is it something you would do again, like a similar type of business, just knowing what you know now? Or like, do you think that just isn't a business that would work for you at all?
No, I mean, I enjoy it, so I would definitely go into business like that again. I would just, like, if I'm going to go into a partnership, I would just make sure I'd set some ground rules first
Yeah.
with my partner.
So when you started a limited liability company, were you and him 50-50 partners? Like, was it a partnership? Because there's a LLC, which is limited liability company, and then there's a LLP, which is a limited liability partnership. Was it a LLP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't say it was LLP because not many people know about LLPs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an LLP.
So yeah, and with those, like, that's part of depending on what state, they have instances where you have to like have all this documentation. That's the reason some people do S corp, like they'll go with the S corporation, because like you have to have certain things every year, like copies of your shareholder meetings, copies of like all the financials you did throughout the year. Who was keeping the books for you guys? Like, who was doing all the financial things for you guys?
So we had we used Shopify as our website, and then we had Square, which kept all the credit transactions, but the cash was, it wasn't like very heavily cash business, but there was definitely some cash transactions, and so he was keeping the books on that, which was kind of sketchy.
How did this affect you on taxes?
To be honest with you, I didn't deal with the taxes. He dealt with taxes, so who knows?
So he put the whole
probably
business on.
Crazy money.
He put the whole business down on his tax return.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, man. So, I'm not gonna take too much of your time. I know you got things to do. I just wanted to. I think this is like valuable knowledge for people to do. Like you said, a lot of people don't know what an LLC is. You got a loan. What a LLP is, what a S corp is, and people want to establish companies, especially like when you go into a recession. It's possibly one of the best times to begin your company, ironically, because you're starting at the bottom where everybody else is at the bottom. But a lot of people make mistakes bigger than yours, man. Like, consider yourself fortunate because you learned valuable lessons and you didn't have to go bankrupt for it. Some poor souls, they end up going bankrupt doing things like even flipping houses. They'll buy a house and say, I'm gonna fix it up, and then it turns out that fixing it up was way more than they anticipated, and they get screwed over or something like that. But with all that said, man, I appreciate it. If you guys have any other questions for him, leave it in the comments below and he'll respond to it. You got any last words?
Yeah, location.
All right, like you said, man, that's something they say in business, and it's for a big reason, and he got into something that he enjoyed doing. Like, don't get into something that you don't enjoy doing because you're failing from the very beginning. If you're not passionate about what it is you are doing. But with all that said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you want more videos like this, let me know. Thank you for your time, man. I appreciate you, letting us into your journey. And do you plan on opening a business later on or not?
Yeah, I would definitely enjoy opening up another business at one point.
All right. Well, I hope to hear from you, man. Maybe we go into business together, and I'll do all the sketchy books and all that stuff to you. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for your time, man. I appreciate you. Hey, until next time.